1000xresist was one of my favorite games. I mean, let me try to think about this. Did I really play anything that great during that time? I don't know. I'd have to look at my Steam or just sit and remember a little bit more. But 1000xresist, if you haven't played that game, it won a Peabody Award. And I guess that's a prestigious award. And I don't say that condescendingly. Like, well, I say it as I wasn't aware that it was a prestigious award. And a studio, in its debut game, won a Peabody Award for immersion and interactiveness. And it is an immersive and interactive type of story. And it's a good step back from the normal, or I'll say the common video games that we see in society right now, where, it's COD, it's 2K, it's FIFA, it's Fortnite, it's what you expect to be the big games. It's the big games, and it's constant, it's third person, first person perspective, high intensity, fast paced, dopamine, and 1000xresist takes a step back and slows everything down, and I love it. I love it. And I'm also watching Code Lyoko. I played 1000xresist like almost 2 years ago now. It's been over a year since I first played it, and I had my girlfriend play it. And she loved it. But Code Lyoko is also a slower paced story, and God, I miss them. Oh, I miss them so much. When our attention spans, or whatever everybody complains about. Point being, 1000xresist, without, I don't want to spoil anything, but to get you at least intrigued in it, it is a story about a bunch of women, and immediately for both male and female, hi bird, gamers, it should be enticing. The main character is Watcher. And Watcher is exactly what she sounds like. And she has a bunch of other relatives. And they live inside an enclosed space. And within this enclosed space, they are designated different, I guess I'll use the functions. These functions are to be carried out without question. Basically, it's future nuns. It's future nuns in a cave, but techno. I hope the creators hear that and laugh and hopefully understand where I'm coming from. It's a beautiful game. It's broken down into different acts. How many acts? Oh my God, there's 3 birds here now. Hi. You guys keep eating. You guys do your thing. See, if I was Michael Jackson or like a Disney princess, I could whistle tone and they'd come over here and we'd be chirping together. Oh, they flew away. Bye, guys. Be safe. Sunset Visitor is the name of the studio that created this game, and they're coming out with a new game called Prove You're Human. Ooh, it looks fun. It looks interesting. Fun for me, fun in the conventional sense, maybe not for everybody, but I needed something a little bit more, Life is Strange, you know what I mean? I needed something a little bit more Life is Strange, and 1000xresist was more that pace, more that style, in a sense. Still different, but, in the realm. You could tie it in. Heavily inspired by Nier Automata, and not gonna lie, what's the word for it, where it's like being an honorary member, but it's like using the term honorary member, but from the perspective of family taking in a person. Not adopted, Okay, basically what I'm trying to say and convey is that there's another story called Land of the Lustrous, and it's almost like they're not spiritual successors, but that's what I mean, like distant things that aren't connected by creation but are connected by similarity. And similarity in that they're stories that try to convey an absolute truth through the medium of experience, that is life, through the lens of a video game. If that fucking makes sense. If it doesn't, well, that's what leave me alone, alright? If you're not here, if you're not fucking up here, you're probably not gonna get it. Because you gotta be fucking stupid. You gotta be really dumb to understand the esoteric, conventional notions that I'm portraying. I don't know. I read the dictionary once and I started saying words from it. Hoping that would make me sound smart, right? Isn't faking intelligence or feigning intelligence the easiest way to... Actually, yeah. Language is the easiest way to feign intelligence. The knowledge of words without any real intended use, but to, in most cases, manipulate, as you can see with, people in the government, or just, whatever, you get it. Anyways, back on track. They're spiritual siblings in the sense of, they want to convey a truth through this experience. They want to immerse you and show you, like, wait a second, what is this thing, like, you feel, when you're feeling a message, when a story is trying to say something to you beyond what you're just seeing or reading or consuming, and it really sucks when you compare that, when you take that idea and you think about the Barbie movie. Because the Barbie movie, I enjoyed for like 70% of it. Enjoyed it enough to actually, continue watching and not walk out of theater. But then there was, after the 70% mark, there was 10% where it was like, okay, so we just made it about this now. We're talking about patriarchy and matriarchy and why are we doing this? Because it's not like you're just talking about it. It makes sense to talk about different things. I want to talk about different things that people might find fucking boring or stupid, but I at least want to, relay what it is that I feel and what it is that I'm intending in a way where I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm not trying to tell you how to think. I'm just showing you a way to think. And then, if you just wear my shoes for 2 minutes, doesn't mean you become me. But you sure as hell have a good understanding of me now, right? A much better one than just perceiving me from, from a third party. But the birds are so... Oh my God, I love them. I want to feed them, but like good stuff. And I don't know if bread is good. You just throw a bunch of worms everywhere. And insects, right? Isn't that what they eat? Yeah, we're killing that, and we're gonna, we'll figure this out. Anyways, before I go down a whole different tangent, the point being, it's such I just love stories like that are trying to convey something to you without telling me how to think. Like, I need stories that fuck with my mind like that shatter me, like Lizzie Hale said. I need something to put the void in front of me and let me come out the other end like, whoa. It's like going down a water slide. There's this one water slide at Camelback Beach in Pennsylvania, and it's a red tube in a trio of snake-themed water slides. And if you go down the red one, dude, it is pitch black, It is pitch black, and it is fast, and it's fucking scary, okay? I don't enjoy it, don't want it to, fuck that. No, absolutely not. Ugh. But it's good. It's good to experience that. Would I keep doing that over and over again? Maybe I'll grow used to it, but that's because I'm growing used to it. But it's that feeling. It's that initial feeling of fear that's almost impossible to really get over. And that's what I love from a story. You know what I mean? I need that. But I also like it slower paced. It doesn't have to be completely fast and make me feel like my death is not impending. It's actually here already, you know? Lyoko has been very, very fun, and I find it relatively similar to the previous two stories that I've mentioned. There is a mystery of you don't really know what's going on. And with Land of the Lustrous, actually, because I didn't really touch on that to get you intrigued. I'm just talking about it. It is a world of humanoid crystals. And they have... They just want something to do. They are humanoid crystals that want something to do. Does that make sense? Okay. That's the way... I'll leave it like that. And... yeah, because I like knowing nothing about a fucking story. I don't even want to know the story exists. I just wanted to pop into my fucking reality, and then I'm like, ooh, and then go down that rabbit hole, you know? Maybe that's why I struggle with, like, templating and planning. I've done much better at planning and knowing what it is that I have to get done on a day-to-day basis and different things, but... yeah, I have templates, or at least I have structures for future things that I intend to write. But it's like, I wrote XYZ thing, didn't finish it, and then I'm trying to find the tether again. I'm trying to find the muse, the string of fate, the divine wavelength that passes through me, you know? And the way that I write things, I'll have the title, what's it called? The acrostic, I'll have the acrostic template with the word that I want to use, and then the title of something else. And I'll love it. I'll be like, okay, this is it. But then enough time passes, and it's like, can I really write something with this? Should this change? And there's a lot of question marks, you know? So it's good to get things out, everything out from the beginning, you know? And that applies to everything in life. Especially with lies, you know? Don't hold on to any piece of it. Be completely open. Simply for the fact that as you get older, you start to realize the void that is coming for you. Or that at least always walks with you. You know? It's always in you and it's always out of you. But... it's... yeah, always tell the whole truth. And if you have lies, if you have lied in the past, get those out of you. It really does mean something to get that out of you. You know what I mean? It's good to think about different things. It's good to, what I'm trying to say, at least what's in my mind, is, and I don't talk about them often, but I guess I should mention this. Like, my mother has conversations with me, but I think the biggest disconnect between me and my parents is they want to talk at me instead of learning to talk with me. And it's not just a them problem, it's a lot of people's problems. And you can get wrapped up in it, that's the human, experience. Because you can get wrapped up in yourself talking about something and then completely forget to ask about the other person's day. And regardless of it sounding like I'm trying to give leniency to that, she said something interesting, which is, forgive yourself. And that's a big thing that I've also seen like Arrow and The Flash, 2 shows that me and my girlfriend recently watched. We stopped at season 5 of Arrow, season 3 of The Flash, and if you've seen them, you'll completely understand why. 2 other previous points to stop in Arrow if you want to keep it good. For Arrow, season 3, if you want to end it there, perfect. You can end it there. For The Flash, you can end it at season 2. Completely fine. But season 3 makes way more sense. But if you get to season 3, there are some things that are going to just infuriate you if you give a shit about good storytelling. That will just infuriate you once you sit there and think about it for a moment. And you're like, you know what? This is where I want to end it. And hence why a lot of people fell off with it. It's just a good point to leave off on. Same with season 3 or season 5. If you want... No, I won't say what type... Yeah. I won't say what, but... There's 2 different types of endings. You'll get 2 different types of endings if you stop at season 3 versus season 5. So... But there's just a disconnect of... Don't talk at me. Don't talk at me. We talk with each other. And that should seem very obvious. Also, the way you think is how you're going to impose on the world. So what I mean by that is, if you are a paranoid person and feel like somebody's going to fuck you at every which way and corner, that's the type of energy that is going to come your way. And until you actually realize that, and I guess the only way to realize that is your initial reaction can be anger, but if you don't catch yourself after getting angry about a topic, that means you're never going to realize something about it. Anger is a pathway to understanding. It's like being angry with a person. Well, why are you angry? And you explore that emotion. So anger applies broadly, as does every emotion across, everything. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it would take up soulful energy to actually go out and do something malicious. You know what I mean? It would. And if that's how somebody feels, that's just not how I feel. Like, it takes a lot, and some people view that exertion of energy as completely fucking worth it. I get it. 1000% I get it. I hear everybody in terms of all the evil things and all the good things, okay? Life is a balance of both, and I feel like we as a society don't really have a good understanding of how to balance all of that, We really don't. But, and funny enough, I'm watching Fruits Basket, and in Fruits Basket, at least in the episode that I'm on, which is, what was it? Was it 14? Might have been 14, maybe. But a character's brother comes into town, and he is from the same perverted generation as the older people within the family. And he's told that he's aware that there's a disconnect between him and his little brother, specifically for the fact that, there's a 10-year age gap. But then as you get older, you start to realize that, okay, age gap or not, connection is connection, and you got to learn to have that. And something he brings up, and I feel was ironically such a touching point with what my mother was trying to say was, ask yourself for forgiveness. I'm not asking for forgiveness. And something that this older brother says is, you start to feel like you're asking for forgiveness. And I'm like, see, that's the problem right there. At least from my perspective, man, that's the problem. I am not going to ask for forgiveness. Ever. It's just not in me. Like, at all. It doesn't make sense to me. And while it might make sense to a lot of other people, it doesn't make sense to me, because the way that I view it is, I don't want to ask for forgiveness. I would rather rectify the situation. I would rather fix it, you know? Forgive me or not, forgiveness is for me. And at the end of the day, whether I choose to feel like an asshole or not is completely up to me. But that's where at least we can teach the psychos, and I say I understand it. Imagine, if you don't care for forgiveness, you don't really care what people think, and you don't care, you're not compassionate towards those people's emotions. And I think every single human being on the planet has had glimpses or long periods in their life where they have been uncompassionate. Wholeheartedly. We are all the same in this regard. No matter, even the most evil feeling people, even the most goodest of people, you know, we have had moments of lacking compassion. And if you realize something like that, and you understand that in order to have any semblance of happiness within this world, this is for me, just a preface, everyone needs to be happy. And that is not only an incredibly tall task, it is seen as an impossible task. But every time passes and the impossible happens, we never come to this conclusion that nothing is impossible broadly, you know? Science that you don't understand is indiscernible from magic. And the same applies to the impossibility and the possibility, which is a possibility that seems impossible is indiscernible from the true impossible. There are true impossibles. There has to be exceptions to things. That is the dichotomatic, paradoxical nature of this reality. Or at least that's the way that we view it, you know? So I don't seek forgiveness. I know forgiveness can only come from me. And I like to sit with my emotions. And I do come to the conclusions of having to forgive myself. But seeking forgiveness for yourself through others or through something that you have to put complete belief in, when you're tethered to your ideals or to an ideal simply for the fact that it's what you've chosen to live for, that is what you have deemed your purpose, it doesn't make sense to me. One of the reasons I feel the way that I do is because I'm always lacking purpose, but I always have purpose at the same time. I have accepted that inherently I have no purpose, but I have also accepted that because I am aware that I have no purpose, I now have the choice to give myself purpose. I don't know if that's something that can be understood just by me saying it with words and you hearing it through a speaker, whether it's headphones, your phones, your computer, whatever it may be, but that's the way that I make peace, you know, and everybody has a different way of making peace. I'm just never going to try to impose my beliefs and what it is that I think is right or wrong onto anybody else. And at the same time, when it comes to how I plan to achieve what I have deemed my purpose, because I am aware that I can gain purpose and choose it myself, is I need enough wealth to act upon every kind thought I have. That is the way that I want to live. I want to live in such a way where I can look around and anything that I want to fix and do is possible. You know? When I see litter around, I wish I could, and I probably can, you know, call somebody, hey, come pick this up, you know? But I do lack trust in the current regime, the current system, you know, to be able to act upon these things themselves. And I have this thing within my mind, and maybe we all feel this way, or maybe I'm the only one, but it's the way that I feel, and I want to talk about it. And if somebody feels differently, I want to know how you feel, why you feel, and maybe you're right. But I feel like if I don't do it, no one's going to. And it's not to say people clearly don't help in their own ways right now and everything, but I just don't feel like anybody's going to do it right. I just don't feel like anybody's really going to give the time, attention, and detail to fixing and acting upon and doing certain things the way that I can do them. And I can write every plan in the world, but unless I'm doing it, I do lack trust. I do, wholeheartedly. And it's not to say that I'll never gain trust, but I think my skepticism on trust when it comes to us as a collectiveness is completely warranted because everybody else feels the same way. Or some people do, at least from what I have seen. Probably not everybody. I could just be macro imposing, and that's completely possible. And me having to say that, it's not covering bases. It's just trying to show that I get it. And I'm doing my best with my words. It's important to learn other languages. Currently doing Arabic and Spanish. I'm trying. Had to use a little bit of Spanish. Failed terrifically. Failed horrifically when I had to use it, but still used it a little. Point being, I don't know. Why do I talk about this? Why do I do this to begin with? Maybe I'm seeking to be understood, and I'm trying to remain ignorant to that until I can feel a big euphoric feeling in the future when I've convinced myself, I've realized something when I've always had it side by side with me. Maybe I'm doing this because I heard podcasts can make you money, and I want money. Maybe that. Maybe I needed a creative outlet, and this is it, Like Michael Jackson said, or, didn't really get to say. It's crazy to me that people can do this podcasting thing for so long. I do need partners. I have a whole fucking monkey group, and I kind of spoke about it the previous podcast, but I'll go into it a bit more. We are working on stuff. Life has gotten very busy, and I'm basically talking to no one right now, or myself, or us in the future, if we go back and listen to these things, these voice recordings, but we've been working. Life can get hard, but at the same time, we want to be creative. We want creative freedom. So the Cucamongas will be making a return. Woo, woo, clap, clap, clap. Sparkles, fireworks everywhere. And we want to be back and better than ever, baby. We want to fucking show YouTube who's boss. We are currently working on a more serious project together right now. So it has taken priority. So it's not like, we're just, like, the time has been spent doing something where we're all working on something together, and it's meaningful, and it'll come out, and it will, I don't know if it'll be a separate thing necessarily from the Cucamongas. We will clearly be working on it, but they have also asked me in turn, Jason, please be less racist. Please, please, please be less racist. You can't keep talking about fucking Asians and Indians and whites and blacks and Spanish and aliens and monkeys, and you can't keep whatever Will Smith said in the song Miami. You can't keep making fun of groups of people. This prejudiceness is getting out of hand. I don't know. Don't ever take that shit seriously, especially if it's coming out of my mouth. You know what I mean? Could you imagine I'm all about helping people, I want to pay people's medical bills and stuff, but then I'm going to the doctor like, wait, is he black? And they're like, yes, sir. It's like, give me my fucking money back. That is true racism. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Yeah, no, I talk like an idiot a lot of the time, you know? But I promise I'm... Yeah. Either way. Cucamongas coming back. I know that promo I just cut right there was WWE worthy, but I promise we're gonna do better. Intros, outros, fucking more structure, funnier videos, funnier clips, better pizza, Papa John's. All right, that's essentially what we're doing. So, thank you, everybody and anybody who listened. Maybe my mom listened to this one. Maybe she's at this point and she's just like, what the fuck? Like, this is what you do in your fucking room? See, I knew you were a fucking loser. You know? Or maybe she's like, wow, I get him. I'm so proud of him. You know? Either way. Yeah, lots of cool things coming. Serious stuff, stupid stuff, absurd stuff. But go check us out. I will, I guess, announce next time. If a video hasn't gone up on the Cucamongas channel, then I'll announce on the next one of these things when a video on the Cucamongas will come out, and I will stick to my fucking schedule. All right, thank you, and